Hi everyone! So I am coming to you from one of the posing rooms here at New Tech Gym. Such an honor to be able to have two posing rooms, and I'm able to do these fit model posing Q&As. I'm going to be doing fit model posing Q&As. These are questions that I've had asked to me, whether on the Q&A that I did on IG or people who just sent me personal messages. So this is just things that I'm looking for with the poses and also transitioning. So that's kind of the main thing I'll be going through today, along with just a few tips here and there that I think are valuable to have really great stage presence. Before we get started, I'm going to answer questions that were asked to me. The first one is, what size shoe am I and what size heels do I wear? So I get all of my shoes from Glam Competition Jewelry. They have a huge selection of shoes, super comfy. I'm a 7.5, but because I know these shoes may stretch out, especially when you wear them a lot, I actually size down. So all of the shoes that I wear are a size 7. At first, they'll be a little tough to fit in, but over time, they kind of expand and it's comfortable. And I feel a lot more secure with those size 7s. A waist trainer that I do use Slim Tum waist trainer. I've used them since my first ever prep back in 2021. 100% recommend it. Honestly, I feel like it helps me keep that core control and breath control at all times. All right, but now let's get to these demonstrations. I hope that you guys can see me. I'm right here. All right. So simplest way to get into that front pose is putting your back foot at a 45. The reason why, if I put it at a 90 this way, I'm not going to be able to lean into it a lot, and it's also not going to look natural and comfortable, and I'm not going to be able to twist as much. So I like having my back foot at a 45. Regardless of which way I'm pushing at, it's always going to be 45. So let's put that at a 45. I'm able to really lean into that pose when it's a nice 45, and it also looks more natural. Even though this pose is nothing but a natural, we want to make it look natural and flawless. This foot over here is going to be like, I call it my floater foot. It has no weight to it. It's just there to look good. I personally like it to be pointed out in front because I like to open the physique. Some girls have it closed, but when you close it off, it looks like I'm sideways. It looks awkward to me. So when it's open, it opens up that physique a lot more. I'm not worried about showing my glutes with that front pose. What I'm trying to do is show balance in my front pose. So I like to personally just have it nice and out facing the judges, and it's at a comfortable place for me. Some girls put it too much in front and then it looks like they're taking a giant step, or too much out and it just looks very uncomfortable. So just have it at a natural stance. You don't need to try too hard with this front pose. And I think a lot of girls may be overthinking it. So even if I went with this side and I pushed in, I would still want this foot to be nice and out. So this is not my good side, as you can tell. And how I know is because I'm able to push more into this hip than this one. All right, so moving on, I'm starting from the ground up. So with my upper body, what I'm doing here is I'm thinking even clavicles, even shoulders. I don't want one shoulder to be higher than the other because it doesn't look natural. And I don't think shoulder forward. If I thought shoulder forward, my pose might look like this, which looks like I'm leaning and I'm too leaning forward. So what I think is I think elbow to the side wall, and that's gonna bring my whole body around. So elbow to the wall, just like that. Another thing that I'm doing with this front pose is I'm not having my arm bent out like this. I'm not trying to spread my lat like this. Again, I want this pose to seem very natural and effortless, even though my calf is twitching right now. you know? So what I'm doing with my upper body, with my arm, I'm relaxing it, and my hand, instead of it being in, I'm gonna move my wrist up. And that's gonna give it more of an elegant flow. So this right here is my front pose. Of course, it's gonna take a while to play around with it, to get comfortable with it. It took me 3 months since I started posing this in December to I think like March, maybe 4 months, to get the right pose. And sorry, I didn't realize how far that I looked, but I'm gonna be a lot closer now. Like I said, you want your back foot to be a nice 45, your front foot to kind of be facing out towards the judges, elbows to the side of the door. I'm making sure my elbows are nice and straight. Not my elbows, my shoulders, nice and even, nice and straight. And then I'm flicking my wrist slightly up just to add more of that shape, that illusion, right? The easiest transition for a fit model, since all of our weight's on this back leg, the easiest transition you can do is bring this leg in front. And then from here, we're gonna put all of our weight on our tippy toes and turn to this side transition. I'm not calling it a side pose because technically we're not stopping, we're just transitioning. And then the next thing would be all of our weight back on that back foot as we take a step to our back pose, just like that. I will do it again. So here I am. I'm bringing this foot in. You can lift or slide, whichever one feels more comfortable. And then with your hand movements too, like you can go both hands, you can go one hand. I like personally one hand because it makes me feel more like Superwoman. But you can go both hands too. It's just whatever one makes you feel like you're Superwoman. So I'm here, I bring it in. Notice that when I'm bringing in my foot, I'm not changing my upper body. I still want to be facing the judges, still want to be showing them a front pose. So I'm here, I bring this in. Every one of my hand movements is moving from my elbows. I'm not trying to move my upper body too much because I don't want to be too distracting. So when I move from my elbows, I turn, and then I take a step forward, just like that. That's gonna be by far the easiest way to transition from the front to the back. From the back pose to the front. The easiest way, simplest way to move is the way we came. So taking a step back, and when I take that step back, notice my foot goes directly behind my foot that's staying. And because I'm still trying to create an illusion, still trying to create a nice balanced shape, I'm keeping my shoulder nice and down. I don't want to cover my face or hide my face at all. That's why you'll never see me do the shrug anymore, because I feel like it just hides your face and the judges are below. And I actually have this angle kind of where the judges would be, like below. So when you want to pose, you want to make sure your shoulders are nice and down. If you want to do anything with your shoulders, you go forward. You don't go back, but you go forward. So forward to the back pose. But anyways, we're taking a nice step back, keeping our shoulders down, hand in front of thigh, turning on our tippy toes, pushing hips back. Upper body, nice and even. Pushing hips back creates that illusion of a tinier waist. And then as I turned, I made sure to put this foot at a nice 45. So all I have to do is just come out with this foot right there. This is not something that I was like, oh yeah, it's easy, it's simple. No, this is something that I've been practicing over and over and over again. This is something that takes a lot of time, and I have so many posing clients I am thankful for that actually keeps me learning more and stuff. I have posing clients who pose very differently, of course. They don't all pose the same, but what I just showed you is the easiest way to transform from the front, bringing it in, tippy toes, and then taking that nice step to the back, and then going back the same way we came. I just showed you the easiest way to do a fit model full routine for amateur level. If you do want to be more advanced, there's definitely things that we can do, such as we take a step forward, maybe go around the other way to that back pose, take a step here, but then we turn this way. You know, you can play around with it. But first, it's getting the poses down, getting the front pose and the back pose. All right, so like I said, I just showed you the easiest way to pose from front to back, back to front. A few tips that I've mentioned in my last videos is never put your head down. I've seen some girls who bring it in. As they're going to their back pose, they'll bring their head down. To me, when you do that, it shows that you're not rehearsed, you're not confident. You want to keep your head up at all times. If anything, look down with your eyes, not with your head. Another thing is always make sure you're making great eye contact with the judges. Eye contact is powerful. Yes, it truly is. You know, your friends are there, but if you're there to win a show, you want eyes on you, you have to make eye contact with the judges. You can't be looking away because that's shy girl stuff. You know, you want to say, I'm present, I'm here. And then another thing that I see people not practice enough is their walk to their front pose. The way that you stand on the side and walk to that front pose, it's all about first impression. They're already judging you by that time. So really practice when you're standing in the side, how you want to present yourself, and then walking out to that front pose, because it takes about 5 to 7 seconds for a first impression. So right when you're doing that front pose, they're already judging you. So really practice getting that walk and that confidence, not looking down. So for instance, don't do this. No. To me, that shows you're not rehearsed, you're not practiced. Instead, you want to keep your head nice and high, shoulders retracted back, chest pointed up. Huge difference in that confidence. And if I'm going to look down, I'm looking down at my body, I'm not looking away. And that's because I want to keep all eyes on my physique. If I look away and let's say I see some girls will look at their hands, I'm putting at a direction where it's not meaningful. Why would I want them to look at my hands? You know, I want them to look at the physique. So if anything, I'm gonna look down, you know, play a lot with my eyes, but not look away. Last question I was asked is, how do you do the back walk? The back walk is very different than walking to stage or walking in front. When we're walking in front, we're playing around, we're more confident in the walk, it's a lot faster. When we walk from the back, our goal is to keep our pelvis tilted, our glutes nice and high. The easiest thing that I do is I collect, and then I'll take a step and I'm moving my hips side to side. Like that. I'm not going up and down. That's like kind of me trying to say it in simpler terms. So again, I'm going side to side, moving at the balls of my feet, not taking really harsh steps. So again, I'm going whoop, side to side. And then with my front walk, again, I'm moving from my elbows. So, all right, y'all. So this was me doing demonstrations for about 20 minutes, and I'm burning up. It is hot. Posing is not something that's easy. It's not. It takes time. It takes repetition, and perfect practice. I always tell my clients, when you're posing, when you're doing a routine, make sure you're practicing it the right way. Don't move on to the next pose or the transition until you nail down that area, like that front pose. and then nailing that transition and then going to the back. Because if you practice wrong, it's gonna look wrong. So I have them all practice with their head high, you know, taking confident steps, because you have to believe in yourself when you're on stage. If you don't, who will, right? So really practicing a lot. It's not easy. It's not something I learned in a day. It's something I learned over 4 months, and I'm continuously learning different transitions, new things that I want to bring to the pro stage. So it's not like oh, I learned it and I'm done. No, it's something we can continue learning, continue improving, and continue enhancing. The last tip I have is don't do your vacuums on stage. When girls do vacuums on stage, it can look rib flare. You're gonna make your upper body look a lot more dominant. You should be doing your vacuums leading up to the stage, meaning you should be doing them nightly or fasted in the morning, really having that stomach control. But when you're on stage, instead of doing a vacuum, I actually keep my core nice and tight, kind of like a crunch in a way, like bringing it in, but keeping my body straight. I don't know if that makes any sense. But don't do vacuums on stage because it can throw off the balance of your physique, especially if you're not having anyone take a second eye at you. You know, I always say if you can't book with me, that's completely fine, but make sure you have someone that's looking at you, because we can be so biased of ourselves. We can think something looks amazing, but it's not, right? So now I'm just gonna pose a little bit for fun. And ladies, don't be scared to get into it. Put on your favorite music, put on your favorite artist, and get into it. You have to feel the pose. You have to enjoy it. You know, it's not gonna be easy. So I love putting on music that I love to listen to, I love to jam to, and personally, that just helps me feel more confident in my pose.